Welcome to FanFiction 101. This video is about what fanfiction is and where you can find it. Fanfiction is basically taking someone else's characters or setting and putting your own twist on it. It's asking the question, what if? Like, what if the Scooby Gang went to Hogwarts and uncovered that the school uses holograms to fake magic? In this instance, I'm taking characters and universes that already exist and using them to create something new. The scenario I just described would be a crossover or a multi-fandom fic, but there are lots of other kinds out there. If you can think of a scenario, then there's probably a fanfic about it. If there's not, well, then you can write it yourself. So now we're going to talk about some things you might want to know before you dive into reading or writing fanfiction. Fanfiction is a product of love, not profit. So in general, you shouldn't charge or pay money for fanfiction unless the work is in the public domain, which means out of copyright, like Shakespeare or Oscar Wilde. If you avoid the exchange of money, you likely won't run into any legal trouble with fanfic. However, if you charge money or accept donations for your work, then you're violating copyright and you could be sued or your work might get taken down. Another thing to know is that anyone can write or publish fanfiction, and because of that, it can be anything. Some of it is so good you can't believe you got it for free, and some of it is not so good. A lot of people first develop their writing and storytelling skills through fanfiction, like Cassandra Clare, who wrote fics for Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings before she published her own work. So keep in mind that if a story is badly written, it might be a new or young writer, or even somebody who's trying to write in their second or third language. So if you find yourself not enjoying a fan work, be polite or just stop reading it. Fanfiction tends to be a largely positive experience for people, and that's the way it should be. There are lots of different flavors of fanfiction, which we'll get into in later videos. But for right now, we're going to switch to where you can find fanfiction and how to navigate it. Every site is a little different, but in general, they will have a rating system for sex or gore, a way to leave comments for reviews on a work, a filter tagging system to help you sort through the works, a way for you to follow or track certain writers or fics so you can see when new things post. Also be aware that fanfiction is not evenly distributed between fandoms or sites. Some fandoms, like Harry Potter, have a million works everywhere, and some fandoms, like Cheers, have almost none. So if you can't find something on one site, try another. Here are some resources to get you started. Archive of Your Own, or AO3. If you only want one site or app, this is it. There are no ads, and the filter features, warning labels, and tagging system are top-notch. You can download works for offline use or just mark them to read for later. The only drawbacks are that it doesn't have as many older works, there's no messaging system, the basic search feature is a little strange, and it will let anyone post basically anything. So tread carefully and be aware of the ratings and the tags. If there's a work with a bunch of tags that don't make a lot of sense to you, you might want to skip that one. Second is fanfiction.net. This is the first site dedicated to fanfiction. There's an app and a website. You can download works for offline use, and it has a messaging system. Content is more closely monitored, meaning you're less likely to stumble on disturbing material, but that also means works are more likely to get taken down due to mass reporting of inappropriate material, especially if it's LGBTQ+. It's got lots of entries, both old and new. However, there are ads, and the interface and filters are only so-so. Another place for posting or writing fanfiction is Wattpad, which is fairly different from the other two. Most stories have cover art, which is pretty cool, and there's a messaging system. It's also not just restricted to fanfiction. However, the search features and the tagging system aren't great, and there are ads unless you get premium. As I said, there are definitely other places to find fanfiction, but these will get you started. Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune into our next video where we'll talk about the lingo of the fanfic world.